Queen Podcast. Hey, y'all.
Please activate your transmutation devices and take a breath. Don't trip. We have infinite time and space to complete your mission. Not anyone or anything ever has you fall. You may return here to the center whenever you must. Just trust your purpose, your path, and always do the man.
I can go off if I want to. I can show off if I want to. I don't have to want you to love every part of myself. Got my confidence with no help. Don't need no one else to see that I'm the baddest in this beat. Yes, mind, body, soul is on fleek. Yes, equal beauty in the way I look and think. Yes, I'm alive. Now watch me shine bright. Celebrating elements that keep my mind right. That's right. I'm my own hero. Calling me a dime, but what's a dime to zero? I'm a bull cipher, but no, you can't wipe her. Cause these days a fuck boy is hard to decipher. Self-love is all I need to find my inner peace. I'll see the pain decrease when I focus on me.
I can arch my back, do a back bend, and you can pay me back on the back end. Cause you know what
Come on, y'all. P.L.U.M.P Queen Podcast. Where the divine feminine at?
Sequence and channel life down low. And if they have us fucked up, be some pharaohs. My mama taught me, believe that I'm the baddest in this beat. Yes, mind, body, soul is on fleek. Yes, equal beauty in the way I look and think. Yes, I'm the light that shines in the night. Celebrate the elements that keep my mind tight. That's right. I'm my own hero. I got the vision, read you like a tarot. I'm a high beacon to heat to my teachers. Cause these days they silence our power. I breathe in. Yeah, self-love is all we need to find our inner peace. I see the pain decrease when I focus on me. When I focus on me. I could be selfish most of the time. I be selfish if I can't help myself. I know that I'ma be helpless. Always make the same mistakes. Heartbreak. And if love is what you made, I have this tendency to give too many fucks and to gravitate to niggas rolling up, lift them up to the home. But it's like I'm building up my own throne. It's your right to love yourself. You have to recognize. Be about it, pray about it, do your exercise. Baby, get fly, be the apple of your eye.
The sea, be the light, the sweetness in your life, be the bark in the bite, the sugar and the spice, young star. You already know who you are.
Hey, how are y'all doing today? This is the P.L.U.M.P Queen Podcast. I am the P.L.U.M.P Queen, and we have my sister from the UK, Shereen Senior. Say hey.
Hey.
I am
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I appreciate it. Nah, you know what I'm saying? This is our thing. This ain't my thing. This is our thing. You know what I'm saying? Because we are both powerful ladies united, making progress. I am so excited to talk about all of the topics and all the stuff you got going on in your brain. So introduce yourself a little bit, and we're going to get right into it because, you know, like I said, this is going to be our perspective. We're going to do what we need to do, say what we need to say, so we can help with this liberation of our minds and, you know what I'm saying, inspiring the world.
Yeah, so like you said, my name's Shereen. I'm from the UK. I'm just here really to give my perspective on the things that are going on at the moment and that have been going on in the world. I'm quite expressive, so I felt like I had to do this with you. It's a natural thing, but I just feel that with females in particular, there's a lot of men running the whole communities out there today, and right onto them. But I do really feel like it's a time for that female energy to, you know, come together and just unite and talk on what we normally talk on, because I think it's very influential. It's a different energy.
Absolutely. Well, I am excited to share your energy, you know what I'm saying, with our viewers. So what's on your mind? We've been talking about this for a couple of days. So, you know, what is it that you want to talk about today?
Well, obviously, we've been talking about the coronavirus situation. There's a lot of race wars going on that hasn't actually stopped. I think a lot of that's been engineered in society today to divert us away from the topic that I really want to talk about today, which is, I don't think a lot of people in America in particular, and the UK, funnily enough, are aware about the lessons that the UK government are implementing into primary schools. So that's from age 4 all the way to, I think, age 10. They're going to be implementing sex education. Now, normally that's actually for secondary schools, but now they're putting it into the curriculum for primary schools. The thing that I think I'm more worried about is that they're actually giving our children as young as 4, again, self-pleasure lessons on how to touch themselves. And there's a guide, it's called All About Me. It's been distributed out to about 240 schools, primary schools in the UK. And if you actually read the PDF, I haven't read it all, but the bit that I have read, it's actually, for me, it's quite worrying, given the history of the UK government's association with paedophile organisations, pro-paedophile organisations, and their agenda. So that's basically what I want to talk on, because I actually found an interview that was done in the 1983, and these pro-paedophile founders actually had the interview, and they expressed what they want, which was to lower the age consent to 4 and teach the children about sex very early so that they can have a sexual relationship with children, because they believe that our young children are equal to an adult in regards to their sexual preference, and they think that they're old enough to make a choice. They don't see them as a child learning. They see them as an equal to themselves. So when I heard this, it backed up exactly what I've been pushing on social media lately, which is they're trying to teach LGBT and self-pleasure lessons. I think the self-pleasure lessons are to do with grooming our children from an early age so that they have the ability to actually, you know, have sex with them eventually. That's my theory.
That's very disturbing. Now, I don't have children, but
I do.
yes, you have 4,
I
4
have
children.
4.
And now this is what they are implementing, you know what I'm saying, into your school system.
That's right.
Now, what I want people to understand is that if they're going to do it there, they're going to do it everywhere.
That's right.
Now, a lot of people out here feel like, oh, there's just certain things that are just never going to happen. People are not going to accept. And, there's no way. But speaking of this coronavirus situation, with us being, having children not being able to go to school, and people having to homeschool, but them having, these full-time jobs and things of that nature. Like, there's a lot going on right now on how they're going to integrate children back into school, with this pandemic still going around. So my thing is, for those who are having an issue with this now, saying that they can't homeschool their kids or they can't be fully responsible for their children's education, what happens when they start saying this out here?
Well, this is the thing. Now, even for myself, I've considered homeschooling. I did try to when my children were a lot younger, but it's a lot easier when your children are younger because it's more or less numbers, ABCs, shapes, and things like that. But when the children get to a certain age, it's a little bit more tricky. Certain adults, certain parents, I mean, they've got to go back to school to learn the things that they're learning today. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be difficult for parents that are working to actually make that decision. So it's going to be a hard decision because people have to work. They built a system that parents or mothers have to go out and work, and then we have to leave the child or our children to the system to raise. And we have no choice in the matter on what they're teaching our children. The only thing that we can do in it, if we do have to go to work and we don't have the ability to actually homeschool, is to teach our children certain things within the home and make sure that we're on top of what they're actually learning in school. We have to question our children constantly and rectify whatever it is that you don't feel comfortable with that they're teaching. Like that, it's just it's a funny time. It's difficult.
It is difficult. I can imagine. I can't even imagine that. Like, that's why I hope when the universe allow me to use my uterus, I'm definitely going to be in a position where I can homeschool my kids, because
Yeah,
it's frightening. I have a godson. You know what I'm saying? I have cousins who have children. I have, friends, who have babies. You know what I mean? And I can't even imagine that. And again, like I said, in their minds, they don't think that this is possible. Like, that's never going to happen. There's no way. But like you said, the system is set up where you may not
yeah,
have a choice. You know what I'm saying? And we
that's right.
definitely need to be more involved in what our children are being taught. And I know that's not having been the way, but like, you should know the curriculum.
Yeah,
The teachers should be with the parents, because there doesn't make any sense why you just said how certain people have to go back to school to learn what their children are learning. Like, when did they make these changes to the curriculum? You know what I'm saying? And who said that was okay? You know
that's
what
it.
I
Well,
mean?
this is the question. Who says it's okay? Clearly the government. You got to remember, see, before the coronavirus pandemic, before these added problems, everyone's attention was on the 5G coronavirus. Now, obviously, you've got the George Floyd situation where that happened. So everyone's attention's diverted on that. But if you remember, I think it was late November, maybe even December 2019, you had the Prince Andrew scandal here in the UK. I don't know if you lot got to see that over in America, but
Oh yeah,
that
anything that has to do with the king, they publicize that out here.
you had Jeffrey Epstein as well,
Uh-huh.
and his pedo island. So he had a lot of high up top people, government officials all over the world going to that island and taking advantage of young women. I'm not sure about the boy situation, but these people have been getting away with this for ages. Even in the government, there's paedophile rings in the government. And I think it was Theresa May, when she was in office, she was supposed to investigate it. There hasn't been any investigations done on it. And that's how I feel like I know now, for the fact that they're leaving them investigations alone and they're letting these people get away with it. Now they're implementing it into the curriculum. You know that they're all associated. Even with this UK, I think, what's it called? Paedophile International Exchange. That's what it stands for. They're pro paedophile activist group. It's a UK group. It was, I think it started in 1970, lasted out throughout the 80s, but it was actually funded by the UK government. And some of the co-founders actually were working within the Home Office of the UK. So when you look at that, it makes sense as to why they're pushing it on the children in the curriculum. Like I said, if you watch that interview, it's only like 3 minutes long. They say exactly the strategy, what they need to have these relations with our children, and they're putting the exact strategy into place in the UK school system from September this year. So you ain't got a choice to take them out of it. A lot of people have also, I say a lot of people, a few people on my social media have asked me questions, because I speak about the LGBT community and they want to know, why am I associating the LGBT link with paedophilia? Now, I don't need to go into history, because just to quickly brief it, in Greece, if you go back to Greece, homosexuality in Greece, literally you had to be an adolescent male and a prepubescent boy to be that was their homosexuality. They never even called it homosexuality. They never called it gay. They never had any terms like that, because their society was built on that. Even if there was two males that were in a relationship, they literally, one of them would take on the role of a female. So it was just standard throughout history with paedophilia and homosexuality. It was always a link, even down to the etymology of paedophile itself. Male lover is a male, an adult male that loves boys. Do you know what I mean? When you take it back. But the reason why I link this is because the paedophiles are literally, at the moment, and have been for the past few years, they're trying to make paedophilia just a normal sexual orientation. So they're on the same fight that the LGBT community has been on. But we've also got to remember that the same founders of these pro-paedophile organisations, if you trace it all the way back and you look at their history, they're the same people that have been ahead of the gay rights movements in the UK, well, throughout Europe. So when you trace it back, they're literally trying to add the paedophile thing into that
I was gonna
LGBT
say
acronym.
I was gonna say
So
that
I'm
they're
not,
the ones who's doing that. It's not you. They are the
and it's
ones who are trying to put themselves along with their, with their struggle, saying that it was the same difference. Just like they
there
like
you go.
same sex, we like children. You know what I'm saying? So it's the
That's what I
same
mean.
thing.
But I
So
will say, sorry.
now go ahead.
I will say this though, because there is gay people and lesbian people out there, and I'm not saying that every person that's gay out there is attracted to children. I'm not saying they're all paedophiles. What I am saying is that those that are ahead, that are in charge, or the founders of these activist groups for gay rights, or let's just bracket it into LGBT, these are the same people that are ahead of these pro-paedophile groups, if you actually do your research. Do you understand? So there should be an outcry from the public, and there should be an outcry from the people associated with the LGBT community. It definitely should be. But
I
it's all linked.
I remember there about last year when they were having this thing where the transgenders wanted to have wombs of their own, so they can
Okay.
be able to have their own children. And I had spoke against that, and I definitely got the same type of attitude from some people. But I
Yeah.
also, and like you just said, just because that's your lifestyle, that doesn't mean that you're a pedophile. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
I have a lot of friends, a lot of people that I care about and love, you know what I'm saying? Even my homegirl, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, whose shirt I'm rocking, Mentally Wealthy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but even she, what I'm saying, had expressed how that's not cool. Yeah, there's certain boundaries. What you do as an adult, what I'm saying, is your business. But when you're starting to bring children in a situation, and when you start, taking from or destroying other things so you can do something, that becomes, an issue. And it's interesting. About a couple of weeks ago, a sister of mine sent me this video about called "The Fall of Cabal," and everyone who's watching, you absolutely to look that up. It's on YouTube. It's about 2 hours and 40 minutes long, but it's extremely worth the watch. You watch movies, Netflix, all that good stuff.
Yeah, true.
Get you some popcorn, however you want to do that. It's called The Fall of Cabal. The video picture has the Pope on the right hand side looking real crazy. You know what I'm saying? And you need to watch that. And they break all of this stuff down in our American government. See, you talking
Okay.
about how stuff is going down in the UK and all that. Well, this is showing them how our own government, every president, House, you know what I'm saying, Congress, how they are all doing this very same thing. All of these charities and these huge companies that are supposed to be for Save the Children and things of that nature, these are all run and funded by pedophiles. And their logos are made, what I'm saying, you're thinking that's just a logo for, the organization, but they're actually codes.
Yeah.
So to let each other pedophile know whatever type they like, whatever, like I was saying to you when we talking, whatever flavor it is that
Yeah.
they know which charity or which, what I'm saying, which situation that they need to go to, or they're going to put their money in so they can get their own picking. And I'm talking about recent presidents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
People
saying?
think this is an old thing.
Yeah.
People think that it's like a new thing. Like I even said the other day that we're talking about paedophilia and them legalizing it and making it a sexual orientation, just like that they now that they've legalized homosexuality. We're talking about people that have raped and robbed, I'd say, the whole bloody world, to be fair. I'll speak from my own perspective when I say black people. Look at slavery. That's all you've got to do. They were raping us. They was raping our children. They was killing us. This was all legal. So you can't talk to me and say, no, the citizens of the UK or just citizens around the world in general are not going to accept it. You don't have a choice. You don't have to accept it personally, but you're not in control. And it's the same thing with the LGBT. I'm not talking about you individuals that ain't pedophiles. I'm talking about those that are in control. And this is what I'm saying. They're using these things to divide us, putting labels on things and that. These people are a small minority of people and they're in control. And this is their agenda all along. This is why they put pedophile subliminal messages in the Disney cartoons for our children to look at. Even the cartoons that they're watching now, like my children was sitting down watching something called Sheezel, yeah, where it was a male boy like he was a superhero, and when he got his superhero powers, he'll turn into a cross-dresser. And I'm just like watching these different cartoons, and I'm thinking, wow, they're literally trying to pull it into their subconscious so that they're accepting of it now for this generation. Because like my generation, and let's go back generations before, they're not going to be susceptible to it because they're coming from a time when homosexuality was seen as a mental disorder. Do you know what I mean? And it's these same people that diagnosed homosexuality as a mental disorder that have diagnosed paedophilia with a mental disorder, and they're being funded constantly so that it's actually like they fund it to do more and more research to actually see if it actually is a natural sexual orientation, just like that of a heterosexual sexual person. So I'm starting to connect the dots, and I'm just looking at it like this isn't nothing new. Just like you said, it's nothing new. This has been their whole thing all along. I think it's a spiritual energy thing that they're trying to take. You know, like children bear a certain energy. You know, it's pure, that innocence. Do you know what I mean?
Let me ask you.
It's bigger than us physically.
That poses a question. So there was something that I heard about. It's called adrenochrome. Anginochrome is called adrenochrome. It's actually in that Fall of Cabal video that I was talking about,
okay,
where they speak of how this is another reason why they take these children. That's why there's so many children missing, because of that very thing. It's almost like they want to take their essence, so they drink. You know what I'm saying? So I got to rewatch it again, and I believe even the Zuckerberg, they have him quoting. You know what I'm saying? How he really is not into the ritualistic things, but he's definitely delved into adrenochrome, and he's enjoyed the experience. So they see these things as experiences. Like even when you watch a lot of these TV shows where you have all of these rich elite people go to these elaborate black tie affair balls to just see ridiculous, you know what I'm saying, nasty and, just very vulgar things going on.
Yeah.
Like this is what these people do. And again, like you said, you're not trying to go after regular people. Talking about the people who are running these things.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Like when we speak of, the white man or whatever, it's not about that. You know what I'm saying? Nope. It's about the people who are running this country, whatever color they are, whatever their tax bracket is the people who are running this. And
it's a spiritual war.
It is. Sorry. And this is what I'll be trying to tell people here. They truly think that, like their vote counts. Like all we need to do is get the right. See, look how you just laughed. See, as I'm saying.
I've never voted in my life.
Some people truly believe that if we just get the right person in that seat, then everything is going to be all right. We just need to get the right person. They don't understand this system was not built, you know what I'm saying, for or about us. All of these laws and all of these rights, they were all made and created when we were still slaves. They did not have us in mind. You know what I'm saying?
They never had us in mind.
Never. You know what I mean? Like it's still it has not been taken out of the Constitution that we are 3/5 of a human being. That's still in the Constitution. That has not, even when we had a black president, that wasn't taken out.
And this is what I'm saying, false hope. Black people are out here protesting with the Black Lives Matter thing. They're voting. You're not given a choice. You're not picking any of these, presidents or these leaders. They're giving you your options. And it's like you've got to pick out of the lesser evil, like if there is a lesser evil between them. You've never been given a choice. It's like Black Lives Matter and certain black organizations. They're given to you. To a certain degree, they're given to you. They're funded by elite people. Like they're funded. And when you do your research and you find these things out, you're like, what do we actually have of our own?
Nothing.
It's all just false hope. That's why me personally, don't get me wrong, I appreciate all of our black leaders that have put themselves out there and died for us. But I'm not about trying to fight to share the same water fountain as a white person. I'm not there trying to fight for equal rights to a people that have never given us equal rights still to this day. So it's like we're putting that energy into something that's never going to be, when really that energy needs to be redirected and focused back on ourselves. because they've created a system that's completely negative, so that when we're out there in the world, it's just negativity, so that we're dying and we're just of stress alone. Do you know what I mean? So we're not concentrating on the negativity within ourselves, so that we can then grow spiritually. And do you know what I mean? Just transcend all this crap that's going on. We can't look past it. We can't do it because everything's about outside of ourselves. Nothing's about inside of ourselves anymore. And I'm only starting to realize that, really, I'd say, in the past few months. And I'm just like, wow, you know, you got to feel this energy. Like, we can talk all this talk all day, but if you don't feel it within your being, and your divine self is taking seat within your being, it's going to be hard for you to, I would say, transcend and not come back to this wicked place after death. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
not everybody gonna make it, honey. Not everybody gonna make it. Some people definitely got to do this life over again. It is what it is. I can tell folks all the time, there is no social promotion in the universe.
Yeah.
If you don't fulfill your purpose, you got to come back here. So it's just refreshing that you have that same concept. And I wish we had that. Like you said, we're always looking outside of ourselves. We want most of the people that are either like out here, you know, you have like 3 or 4 different types of people. You have people who are out there, you know, speaking their truth and, you know, hearing their voice. You have the watchers. You have the people who feel it, but they've integrated themselves so much into the system that they want justice, but they're not willing to sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? What it is.
Comfortable.
Because they're comfortable. They have found a way to make this work for them. So I need to save face, because when this all blows over, or, you know what I'm saying, when things calm down, I still have to deal with these certain type of people. This is how I make my money. This is how I make my living. And this is one of the reasons why me personally, how I take care of myself has nothing really to do with my platform and my purpose, because I don't ever want to compromise for that. There's no way that something like this happens and I'm not going to say nothing.
That's it.
I don't care what's going on. No way.
I'm speaking my truth, regardless. But a lot of people, like you say, the watchers, they're feeling it and they can see it, but they're uncomfortable. And a lot of people don't like to be questioned by other people that they know or who they associate themselves with. Like, for me, going back to when I was like, I don't know, about 16, 17, I got introduced to the Nation of Islam. So at first I resisted it and was like, no, it's racist, this, that. But then after questioning it, going back and forth with my ex-husband at the time, I started to accept certain things as truth just based on a bit of research. And then I found myself in a position where most of the people around me were against me and what I was saying. And I noticed when you speak the truth, people will reject you. And people are scared to be rejected, especially by people that they love. It's not about that for them. Everyone wants to be comfortable. Everyone wants to be loved. So if you're speaking out against something, it's easier for people to just stay quiet, to go along, to get along, and not to disturb the peace. People like myself and you, we're told that oh no, you're not peaceful people. You just want to separate people. But no, it's just about speaking the truth for what it is. It's not a colour thing. Truth's truth. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just the truth, as far as I'm concerned.
No, that's not as far as you're concerned. That's just what it is. Like, you know, the truth needs no permission. Truth needs no cosign. You don't got to believe it if you don't want to. And I tell people that all the time. Like, there's a difference between opinions and the truth.
Yeah, I'm not trying to ram it down anyone's throat anymore.
Oh, no, absolutely.
I don't need to.
To be quiet, this is empowerment, and they don't see it that way. Because what we're trying to tell them is, again, inside yourself, everything that you need is within you. And if we understood that and then came together with that concept, you know what I'm saying, we would take back what's ours, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Sovereignty. I push that a lot. Sovereignty. I want to get going.
Yeah, that's it.
They built all of this to serve them, so let them have it. It took us to build it for them. Like, there's people don't understand their value. You know, like, these big companies wouldn't be who they are without the little people. If all the little people decide to say F y'all, we're not working anymore, this country would crumble. They don't understand that
On
the people, you know what I'm saying, is what makes this go round.
we're the
Okay?
we're the majority.
We are the majority. We are the majority. You know what I'm saying?
Divide and rule.
To-
That's what it is. That's what it's about. Divide and conquer. And
That's
that's what
what
they've
it
been
is.
doing, and that's what they're still doing. That's why we've got these engineered pandemics and race wars going on right now, because that's what they want. They're the author of confusion. This whole thing's just about confusing people so that we're fighting against each other, so that our attention, again, is diverted away from what their real agenda is.
And what
And
they're
that's it.
doing and what they're implementing. That is so true. And I just really hope that the folks that are watching, y'all listening, because this is real. Like, she's all the way across the ocean. You know what I'm
I
saying?
am.
Speaking the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's it.
real. This shit is real.
We're everywhere. This is the thing, because there's like we were just saying, divide and rule. We've been scattered around the Western Hemisphere, so we're separated, and there's no link. There's no link to our people. But we're struggling the same way over here. I think America is worse. I'm not gonna lie. America is in. It's a different thing.
I would have to agree. I would definitely have to agree with you on that.
But it's on a grander scale, even down to, like, I was speaking to my other half today, and I was saying about, like, where I was raised. There wasn't that sense of that village, that village, it takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
There wasn't none of that community spirit. And then he comes from London, so there's a lot more black people there rather than where I'm from. And he was saying, even there, although there's a lot more black people, it isn't like America, because you can go down streets or towns in America and all you're seeing is black people. But over here, it's not like that. You got to cross the road and you're in a posh area. Do you know what I mean? Where just white people.
It's like that out here too. We have our area, and that's the crazy part. You'll be 10 minutes away. One side is the hood. 10 minutes up the road, you know what I'm saying, is the suburb. So yeah, it's the same way. And that's what's crazy. How are you 5 minutes away or right across the street, and there's poverty over here and wealth on the other side? How is that okay?
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is what.
Even we were saying the other day, I don't know if I was talking to you or my partner, or I don't know who I was talking to, but even like the church, for example, when they're saying, we're all one people, this, like that. You've got white churches and black churches. Why have you got division within the churches if it's supposed to be about the one God? Do you know what I mean? There's divisions for a reason. You only got to go to a white church and see how they live and look at their monuments and, idol, whatever they've got in the church, everything, the money's pumped into it. I'm not saying there ain't money pumped into the black churches, but it is a different thing.
Let me tell you how the same it is. The money is pumped into black churches, but that doesn't go into the black community. And this is why, and this is why I personally I can't do religion, because that doesn't make any sense. How you got preachers and pastors who own jets. There's a pastor, his name is Creflo Dollar. I don't know if this is
heard about him.
Yeah, well, to go to his church, I don't know if it's like this now, but I know there was a time to attend his church, you had to give him your W-2s.
What's W-2s? Am I just dumb here? Or is it American?
The W-2 forms is pretty much a document of your wages, both gross and net.
What?
Exactly.
10%.
So they want to make sure they get in 10% for sure. So they have to take.
They've got credit card machines over here in
the
church.
Got ATMs in the church.
I remember my good friend telling me, "Oh, no money. Oh, no. Here you go. Here's the machine. Just pop your card." Like, do you know what? For me, like, I've never been a churchgoer. I've never been a Christian. I didn't get raised up that way. The only religious thing that I've ever partaked in was the Nation of Islam. And for me, I was more attracted to it based on the whole pro-black thing, where they're teaching you about your history and things like that. So for me, it wasn't really that. But even so, with the Nation of Islam, I have to say, I mean, I don't think they're as ruthless as the church at all. But I know, my ex-husband was in charge of that sort of thing. He was giving 10% of our money to the Nation of Islam. Do you understand? So it's a religious thing. Do you know what I mean? And my problem is with that. Now, I don't mind giving my money to black people that are doing something for black people in the communities, but where are the businesses? Yeah? Where are the youth groups? You know, where are the organizations within our community that are actually helping black children or just children in general? You know what I mean? So I still ain't seen nothing yet. So like that's my problem with it. I'm not giving. And I'm all about charity, but I do know charity begins at home. You know.
You better tell it. That is so true. And this is all we be trying to say. But folks, you know, again, they're sold up into this society. Again, they've made this work for themselves. So they got to keep riding because that's all they know. You know what I'm saying? Sovereignty looks like poverty. I'm going to say that. Yeah, I made that up. Seriously, to us, sovereignty looks like poverty because we have been so pumped up with cars and big houses and, you know, clothes and, you know, and things of that nature. So, you know, that's what we see as success. If you have all of these material things and you're living this type of lifestyle, then you're successful. See, we don't see success as owning your own land and being able to eat from the ground, you know what I'm saying? And just having a little small house, you know what I mean? And just chilling and be able to govern yourself. You don't need all that extra shit, just being able to live out your life.
I was saying this the other day.
Purpose. That's poverty to them. If you ain't got a bunch of children, that's
what they just teach your children. Go to school, get a good job. Do well, get a good job. There's nothing that you're taught about, you know, like even the life skills, like just finances, tax, you know, owning your house, starting a business. None of that's taught to you in school. You have to learn that outside of school and then you struggle with it because you don't get it. But you're literally taught to go to school, get a good education and get a good job. There's nothing in the school system. I mean, they do have business studies, but it's not encouraged because all they're trying to do is make more slaves. They just want more workers to support their system because they're the ones that are in control of it all. They're the ones that are getting the money.
Our children have to be educated so their kid and work for them so their kids can run businesses.
That's right.
Because that's exactly what people and they say get a good education. What does that really mean?
There you go.
Because let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. Like half the stuff I learned, and you know what I'm saying, in high school, I don't use.
Same.
I always go back to this one because it's the one thing that's stuck in my mind that they made us learn that I still, you know what I'm saying, that just doesn't make sense. The Pythagorean theorem. I don't use that. I've never used that outside of getting out of high school. But there's a whole way for that. You know what I'm saying?
This is public schools. See those rich, you know, like the Harvard, you've got Oxford here. These people, the people that have got the money, the ones that you have to have a certain amount of money to even get into the schools, they're taught the proper education. They're given certain arts and you know what I'm saying? Like they're given those kind of things. They're taught true history. They're taught what their people have done. Because they're teaching them because they know that they're the future leaders of the world. Do you know what I mean? But we're not supposed to know that type of information. That's why they're not implementing it into the school. Because if we do have that type of information, then we'll know who we are. Do you know what I mean? And take control. But you know, you have to miseducate the people. Like they've always miseducated us. We weren't allowed to read or write for 400 years. Now it's just in our DNA where we don't even want it. Even me, I struggle with reading still. My partner's, you know, he reads constantly, so he's always on my case. Read. You need to put something in your mind. And I'm just like, all right. And I'm just like, you know, and it's a DNA thing. It must be like because we didn't read for so long to the point where it's just, oh, no, I don't want to read. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I've actually struggled with that a bit. Oh, the baby. Now, I've actually struggled with that with myself. Not struggling reading, but I have to be really interested in the topic for me to read a book. And that bothered me because I'm supposed to be conscious. I'm supposed to, you know what I'm saying, be, you know, into educating myself.
Yeah.
So why don't, you know what I'm saying, I actually like doing that. So I definitely feel like that is deep rooted.
And I have to be honest with it as well because, you know, when I talk certain times, a lot of people, especially if they don't have any association with the things that I'm talking about, they assume that I'm, I don't know, maybe a little bit more intelligent than them. And it's not the case. I'm like, you know what? I've watched a little something and I just retain that information, and I may be able to articulate myself just a little bit better on that little bit of information that I've read or watched. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But as a, you know, I would say I'm pro-black. A lot of people, you know, say, well, why aren't you reading? It's like the one thing that you know that you're supposed to, but I'm just honest. I can't be real. Like, I'm not having no one tell me, oh, well, you say you're this and you can't. Nah, I'm just, it's straight up. I need to get better. Put it that way. I'll say that.
No, are we work in progress. Just the fact that, you know what I'm saying, we can acknowledge that, and people don't understand that as well. When you acknowledge that there's something needs to be changed, I won't say a problem, you know, got to talk positive, but when there, you know, or something there is to change, you know what I'm saying, that gives you the power. You know, there's no going to change, so now you can do that. Most people don't want to do that. Most people don't want to admit.
It's hard.
And they got flaws, like it, and it's crazy. I don't understand that. Like, especially with religious people, where they preach that the only person that's perfect is God. So if God is the only, you know, entity that's perfect, then why are you trying to be as such? And I'm not saying to strive to be your higher self, because we always got to do that. I'm always striving to be, you know what I'm saying, my highest self, but I know I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm going to make mistakes. I know I'm flawed. That's the whole point, honestly, of your journey, is to learn. How you going to learn if, you know what I'm saying, if you know everything? That doesn't make sense. So I really wish our people would, you know, keep that in mind as well, to, you know what I'm saying, work on self. It's only better in you. It's only better in you and making you, you know what I'm saying, your best.
Sorry.
Nah, do you think?
It's just even this with this religious concept as well. This is what I mean. It's like everything is designed to go outside yourself. So instead of going inside and meditating, for example, they'll tell you to go outside yourself and pray to an external force. Now, I'm not saying not to ever do that, but what I'm saying is that you will find answers inside of yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's always an outward thing. You're striving to for perfection, but you're looking to an outside source for that, where really you need to go inwards. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's like I see religion like a psychological enslavement. You're limited for your perspective, because not all your questions are answered. They're not gonna be answered, because you just have to have faith. You have to remain there. You're not supposed to seek every answer, because God's the one that's supposed to have all the answers, and it's up to him. And I say him because majority of the world, you know, view him or whatever it is to be a male. But it's very limiting, and that's why I thank the universe that I've come out of it, because now I've been able to grow more spiritually and even look at spirituality. Because when I was within religion, I didn't really look at it in like a spiritual aspect. Like, you know, they say God's within you, or he's, you know, he's everywhere, or it's like I didn't really make that link. And it's only when I come into contact with my current partner 6 years ago that he started talking about spirituality. He started introducing me to Dr. Malachi Z. York and things of that nature. So I was just like, wow, about the Black woman's God and things. So everything that I knew was kind of like, you know, it was like a 180. Like, I was like looking at it all different, but it's helped me grow now. And it helps me now to teach my children. I'm not limiting my children now to forces outside themselves. Constantly go within for your answers. Majority of your answers, they're inside.
You know, it's funny. A lot of people tend to say, actually, I saw T.I. say this on an interview. He says that, you know, when God speaks to him, he speaks to you in your voice. So my thing about people is, and why would you think that God is speaking if he's his own entity? Why would he speak to you in your voice? You know what I'm saying? If he has his own, that's an indication that you're, you know what I'm saying, that you're speaking to self. And what I tell religious people is not to say that you are God Almighty, because that's where that, you know, their thing is, you know, you're not bigger than God. You're not God. You don't have that power. And that's not what, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that we are all connected to the source. Now, you call this source God, cool, but we are all connected to it inside out. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to look outside because we are already every movie we watch, like Avatar. You see how when they meditate and they go to that tree, that it's the same concept. They are one with that place. That place is one with them, which is why when they kill an animal for somebody, to protect themselves, they do this ritualistic situation to show respect to that animal because they still understand, even though I had to kill you to, to protect myself, your life is still valuable. You're still a part of the source. So since you're a part of the source, you're still a part of me. And are you gonna, you want somebody to disrespect you? You know what I'm saying? You're dead. Like, people don't understand that. We have this real pompous attitude because we're humans and we think we're ahead of the food chain. When in fact we're just out of discord, with everything else. Every other species, no matter how big or small, respects the earth around it, including ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because let's think about it. It's actually more animals, you know what I'm saying? They're more deadly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Can you imagine if all the elephants, all the gorillas, all the crocodiles, you know what I'm saying? Just think about all the sharks. You know what I'm saying? If they all got together and they thought like us.
That's right.
We will be done. You know what I'm saying? Right. We will be done for. So that's why they stay in their lane. We the only ones that don't stay in our lane. And this is why a lot of stuff is happening.
But it's like, we didn't live this way before. Like, as Black people, we've been brought, I'd say, over to the Western Hemisphere, and obviously slavery to played a role in the way we view life today. Because with Caucasian people, I see that they don't have no respect for life, and their way and their idea has been pushed onto us, and now we respond to nature that way. Do you know what I mean? So it's not been an African thing. It's not been a thing for all the people on the planet. I think this is more of a recent thing because we looked after our planet. We took care of our animals, before. I just relate it to a certain new species or a new people on this planet. Do you know what I mean? That obviously don't know how to look after life.
Man, you can't change history.
There's no respect.
Yeah, you can't change history, and people want to get upset because they feel like you're talking about me. But at the end of the day, your forefathers, your ancestors, whatever, you can't erase, what they did. And what y'all have shown. Y'all
you've shown it.
Respect for life. You don't.
It's in your textbooks. This is what you're teaching us.
Absolutely. Everything that they have accomplished has come from raping and pillaging and and slavery. That's exact. They have stolen everything. Right now, the museum's like, okay, a lot of people were tripping about, people looting, after the George Floyd situation. And I mean, you've had this conversation. I told you I had a 50-50 split on how I felt about that. Because on one hand, I feel like if you're going to do that, I personally feel like you shouldn't have did that in your neighborhood. If you really about getting at the folks that's coming at us, you should have went into their neighborhoods and did that. I definitely feel like, you did do these Gucci stores or whatever favor, you looting and doing whatever you did in there. They got insurance. They definitely about to get some bread back for that. But then on the other hand, everything in this country is stolen. We have to pay them to go see our ancestors, to go see our shit in their museums. They came to this land, you know what I'm saying, and stole it.
Oh, I've got to mention something, yeah?
You know what I'm saying?
See, I don't know about you guys in America, but now about a year ago, the National Treasury, or basically, they put out a status on their Twitter page, and they basically was telling us that people that have been working in the UK were paying compensation to slave owners up until 2015. So everyone that's worked in the UK that have been paying tax have literally been paying our slave owners and their children compensation for letting go of their slaves. Because a lot of people think that, slavery was abolished in the UK from 1807, and that's when, you know, they said, oh no, we need to let the slaves go because it's just it's not equal, it's not righteous, it's not that. They never let go of us because of that. It's because the slave masters knew that they would gain money. And I think the amount of money that we've paid them back, I say we because that's who's been paying it, I think it's worth billions now in our money, because it was millions back then what they had agreed to pay the slave owners for letting their slaves go. But in our money today, when it's converted, it was worth billions. Now, my point to this is that a lot of people like to say, how can you talk about slavery? Why are you talking about it? It wasn't us. It wasn't us that put you in chains, you know. It was our forefathers. It wasn't our fault. Now, I understand what you're saying. I agree with you. But who's been receiving that money up until 2015? Where's that money going? Whose pockets have that they've been going in? Because your forefathers, like you said, they're not alive. They're not here. Who's been receiving that money? Do you know what I mean? Like, you benefit. You don't only benefit from slavery and the buildings and the banks and the businesses that are still in existence today. We literally paid your money. And I can't believe it. Although black people in the UK are disgusted, I just felt like there's going to be more of an outcry. Like, that's something that's just been, you know, wiped over. Like, just, oh, yeah, this happened. Oh, there you go. 5 years ago, we stopped paying it. Like, black people have been paid. Like, I can't even express it enough. Like, I'm so shocked. But at the same time, I shouldn't be shocked because these people ain't like they've never changed. They're not doing anything different to what they've always shown us. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know if you guys in America knew that, but I thought, let me put it out there. But that's how deep it goes.
I think I saw an article about that last week. About that. Nothing surprised me anymore.
Yeah.
When I hear stories now about anything that goes down, I always take into consideration, because there's nothing new under the sun. And, and here's the thing about all of this is what I want people to understand too. Do you know everything that's going on is about survival? Yes. This is about survival. I saw a movie called The Minority Report. And
yeah, I watched that.
Okay, so you know when Tom Cruise is on the run and he goes to the lady and whatnot.
It was a long time ago, but yeah, go on.
Okay, so he's on the run now because, you know, the guy set him up because he needs pre-crime to keep him going or whatnot. Yeah. So he goes and finds the lady that's associated with it so he can try to find his minority report. Mm-hmm. So she's, you know, dropping her low knowledge on him, and pretty much she was like, at the end of the day, she grabs one of her plants and starts just kind of almost like strangling it. And she's like, you know, when the chips are down, every human organism, and she lets her hand go and her hand is bleeding. Every organism is about self-preservation, survival. This is why depopulation, all this stuff is because, well, was it, I believe it was you that I was talking about recessive genes and, you know what I'm saying, and biology and how all that works, how, you know, people try to make it seem like it's a black and white thing, but it's really genetics. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of us. It's more of us than them.
Around the planet.
On the planet.
We're talking original people. We're not just talking about black people with, you know, African phenotype. We're talking Hindus, like Indians. Like, if you go around the whole world, majority of the world are darker people. The minority on this planet are Caucasians, if you want to take it there. So what you're saying, I think there's Neely Fuller, but I think Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she goes in on it, on white genetic survival. When you look at it, you have to boil it down to what it really is about. And I think this theory, which I feel like is a fact, I don't really like this word theory, but it would make sense as to why Caucasian people move and do what they do. Do you know what I mean? They move a certain way because they're trying to survive. On a scientific level, we know that if white people carry on reproducing with black people, that's the end of their genes. You know, as soon as they give birth to a child with a black man or a black woman, that's it. They've got a black child. Maybe it's a diluted black child. Now I'm diluted over here. I haven't got two black parents. Do you know what I mean? But on a genetic
She said,
level,
I'm diluted over here. You're hilarious.
no, but that's what. But that's what you've got to take it down to. Like, a lot of people would say, "Oh, I'm half white and I'm half black." I don't see it like that. I see, like, so basically, what you can have one white parent and you can have one black parent, but then you're then trying to assume that white genetics that from that white parent is equal to that person, that of a black person. It's not, because I think they say it takes 33 white people to make one black person. I just
Now,
drop
where
it like
did you
this.
hear that? Now, I've never even heard that. Where did you hear that at?
We, like I said, my partner, like we he reads a lot. He shows me a lot of information. We've gone into the genetic side of things because, like, being mixed race myself, I have my take on things. So I was raised up around a lot of, you know, mixed race people that don't even want to acknowledge being black. Do you know what I mean? So they're more leaning towards the white side because of how, you know, white people are treated in society, which they're treated better than black people. And I understand that frame of mind, but you can't get away from being black when you're mixed race or whatever you want to call yourself. To me, you're a diluted version of a black person. Because like I said, on a genetic level, there's no equal. A black person can have a child with a white person. You're still going to have a black child. Like I said, maybe diluted, but you're still producing yourself. A white person can't do the same. That's the end of their genes once they mix with original people. And that's original people from all over the place. So what Caucasian people have had to do now is they've had to implement a system based on white supremacy so that, and spread it across the whole globe, so that there's color caste systems, so that black people are fighting each other and they're skin bleaching. They're trying to produce lighter children because they're all just trying to get, you know, because they think that white people, their concept of beauty is European for a start. Their standard of beauty is European. So they're all just trying to get away from black. And that's the only way that they can survive, because if there was no racism in this world and everyone mixed up, white people wouldn't be on the planet today, because they're the minority on the earth. And that's not even talking about the sun, because the sun alone is killing them off. And there is I think
you better go on and preach.
There's a birth decline in their genetics right now. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Their birth rate's on decline, and that's in the news. So you can go and look at it. And there's nothing that we're saying that's a lie. It's all just facts. You know what I mean? So we got to look at this. It's a genetic thing.
And I wish people would take that into consideration and get out of this mindset of, you know, we're trying to pick, or we think, listen, you cannot knock science. Science is science. We didn't make that up.
That's right.
You
That's how you prove things.
That's how you prove things.
Constant.
But that goes back to religion. This is why they gave us religion, because with religion, you know what I'm saying, you don't go by facts. If it doesn't make sense, then that means God has to handle it.
That's right. It's a belief system.
The belief system.
You
When you believe in something, you're not sure. I don't care. I know they tell you believe in yourself, and that's why I don't say believe in yourself. Know thyself.
That's right. And that's another thing that my partner said to me when I first met him. I said, what do you believe in? He said, I don't believe in anything. I went, excuse me? I just thought he was just crazy. He said, no, I like to know. And I was like, I had to look up the word believe in the dictionary. The word believe in the dictionary just means to have faith in something that doesn't have enough evidence supporting it. Like, you just have to have faith. It doesn't have enough evidence. And I just thought, for us to carry on believing, you're just going through this world based on blind faith. You don't know. You're putting all your hopes, all your energy into this one thing that is not a fact. And that ain't enough for me. Like, I want to grow, I want to elevate. And if you can't elevate past, like, religion, like, I don't know, it just keeps you boxed in. I know that from my own experience. I'm not even pointing fingers at other people. Through my own experience, being religious stunted my growth 100%.
I agree 1,000%. And I'm saying, I hope y'all hear this plump queen right here. You know what I'm saying?
And another thing I'd say, you're always pointing fingers. Pointing fingers, people in the church, people in the mosque, pointing fingers. But no one ain't looking at themselves. Just gossiping, backbiting, You know what I mean? No one ain't looking about themselves. And it goes with what we were saying earlier. Everything's about external, nothing's about internal. Self-healing. Look at yourself. Look at your negative traits. Do you know what I mean? Go on, sister.
Yeah, I hear you. I feel your frustration. I can dig it, and
No.
I hope they're listening. I truly hope that they're listening, and that this is love, y'all. Like,
Yeah, of
you
course.
know what I'm saying? Like I always say, I love y'all. I
Yeah.
truly, truly love y'all, but we have to take accountability. We worry about too much ourselves, but see, this is how we big ourselves up. This is how we handle our issues with ourselves by pointing out, what we see in other people, because we don't want to do the self-work. Self-work is extremely hard. I'm gonna tell y'all, it's extremely, extremely, extremely difficult, but it's worth it. Anything worth having is worth working for. We say these little sayings and things of that nature, but don't
Yeah.
really apply it to our life. It's just something to say to sound inspirational. But if you're not actually applying that stuff, it's nothing but fluff. And this is
I've
why
done
we're
it.
still in this state. You know what I'm saying? This is why we're still in this state. And again, I don't knock if you could pray however you want to pray. I don't argue with folk about that. But when it
Yeah.
comes down to it, like my mentor Jamar always says, you can't unhear what you heard, and you can't unsee what you saw.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Once you have the information, what you gonna do with it? Because it's
That's
to
right.
help you. It's to help you. Everything that goes on in this country is about helping them. What we're saying is helping you, and we're not taxing you for it.
This is just passion and love here. Getting
Yes, you
everything
know
off
what
my
I'm saying?
chest.
Because
Like,
understanding, because I tell people all the time, we are one. Like I said, we're connected to the source. That's just not the source. That means that we are connected to each other. So what happens to you happens to me.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter which road to the source we're trying to take. So I try to tell people this all the time and I know a lot of people might be offended by some of the things that I say and some of the things that have been said today, but I promise you it's all in love. Just take that into consideration. You ain't even got to tell me. Just, you know what I'm saying?
That's
just,
it. That,
just
but that's
apply
all
it
you
to
can
your
do.
life, like for real, like seriously, because all we want you to do is grow. Like,
Yeah.
here's the thing: what will you lose by going outside of what you know? If it don't work for you, you still got what you know, right? You can always people talk. The way Christianity is set up, I can't speak about other walks of life because I've only been a Christian outside of my
Sorry,
spirituality
sister.
now. Oh no, you good. You got babies. Do your thing, girl. You
No,
know what I'm
go
saying?
on.
But you know what I'm saying? Outside of that, but that did just make me lose my train of thought. Yeah, you know what
Sorry.
I'm saying? I didn't know. It's okay. It's okay. But no, I feel like I've only dealt with, with Christianity. You know what I'm saying? I really can't speak about, others, but you know what I'm saying? You just gotta understand, like, it's growth. If what you're saying is the truth, if what you're saying is facts, the end all and be all, then it should be able to stand any test. Like I said, the truth needs no backup, needs no cosign,
You
no
ain't got to remember it.
years. It don't need none of that. It's just what is. So if your way of life, you know what I'm saying, is what it is, then you should be able to do anything. You should be able to read any book. You should be able to, you know what I'm saying, to attend any program or church or just to see what it is. I'm not telling you to convert or whatever, but you know what I'm saying, you should be able to take any other thing consideration and put it against what you got going on, and what you got going on is supposed to supersede
Yeah.
that. Just like in school, when you're doing I use this all the time, when you're doing an essay in college, first of all, you can't even use Wikipedia. That's not
Okay.
even a reliable source. You know why it's not a reliable source? Because anybody can go in there, you know what I'm saying, and manipulate
Yeah,
the information. Why can anybody do that? Because things change.
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? This may something, may work this way, and then some technology comes out. So now that changes. So now we need to update that. You know what I mean? When you're writing a paper, you need several sources,
Yeah.
not your experience, not what you saw, you know what I'm saying? And you can't even just use one thing that you've read. You need several different sources. And that will make, you know what I'm saying, will prove your, you know what I'm saying, your point. That's how you get a good grade in that. You can't just use one source. It's one valid. That's only one person's perspective. They'll make, you know what I'm saying? It seems validated when more than one person is saying, see, if more than one person is saying the same thing, more than likely it's true. See how you say that? So it's the same thing. If you can find more than one person that is speaking, you know what I'm saying, the same thing or have the same ideal, then more than likely it's true. Because at the end of the day, we don't know everything. You know, you don't know everything. You don't have every experience. You haven't lived in every place. You haven't dealt with every type of person. You know what I'm saying? So how do you, honestly, how do you truly know? The world is so big. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never been where you are. And again, like, a lot of things are similar, but there are a lot of things that are different.
There is.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
even going back to this LGBT and this self-touching, and I say the two together because it's only because obviously I've got that link and whatever, but at the same time, it's going to be made compulsory, those two specific lessons together from September. But even when I was researching that, I'm like, okay, is this true? Like, I was thinking, is this actually true? So I had to go back and forth, do more and more research. And then even after I put the information out, like on my Facebook page or my Instagram, I was like questioning it again because it sounds so far-fetched. So I had to go back, read through the government. You know, there's a government site that you can go to see everything that's being made compulsory in schools in terms of the education. Like, I had to just go through it all again, find more and more. And then I was like, do you know what? Now I'm confident. So I hear what you're saying. You do have to have evidence backing up what you're saying. You can't just think that you can have one perspective and say, oh yeah, that's science. When they're in a lab and they're doing what they're doing, they're experimenting, they do it over and over and again. And how they know it's the truth is because the same outcome. Like, it's just
right. Exactly.
That's it. And going back to your
okay.
Just quickly in regards to like the religious thing. Now, you were saying about people should be able to read any material when they're in whatever, you know, whatever it is. If you're in religion, you should be able to, you know, read anything. But I was in a position where I remember saying to someone, I want to read something that was against what my foundation was. And they told me, no, you shouldn't read that because, you know, it's against what your thing is. And I was just like, okay, I didn't read it. I just didn't read it. And then now I know better. I'm thinking, wow, my foundation should be strong enough so that it shouldn't be shaken. But if someone within that same foundation is telling you not to read it, there's weakness. Do you know what I'm saying? If it can shake your foundation just reading something opposing to what you believe in,
that's right,
your foundation's weak. It's got to be. But that's what I've got to say on that. But yeah,
that's a whole fact. That's a good way to approach that because you're absolutely right. It should be able to stand any test.
Yeah, you should be strong within your thing.
That's the whole fact.
If you're about truth, you should seek truth wherever it is. Just because it doesn't have your leader's name attached to it or whatever. If you're about truth, you're about truth. You don't matter where it is, who it comes from, you know?
No, but that is a whole fact. That's a whole fact. Like, I don't care whose mouth it comes out of. Like you said,
I don't care.
Because when I post certain things, some people feel like I'm not. Everything that I post is supposed to be only from Black people. Like, white folk, no. There's a couple of folks out here that actually got some couth about themselves, like your Mel Gibsons of the world and your
Jim Carrey.
Your Jim Carreys of the world. Yeah. Anybody saying something real, I'm gonna share it.
That's right.
They say the devil will tell you, you know what I'm saying, tell you the truth. You ever watched the movie The Devil's Advocate?
Yeah.
He was telling that man he was telling that man the whole time. He was telling him the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he didn't want to listen. And at the end, he told him, I told you. He was going in on him like, I told you this was going to happen, but you didn't want to listen. Because he gave you that false, you know what I'm saying, that false choice.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So people got to understand, you know, the truth is the truth. And if that's what you have to decide for yourself if truth is really what you want, or is it comfort?
That's right. For me, I think it's comfort. Like when I first started learning, like I suppose, let me just say, when I first became conscious or awake to the reality of, life, I was just like, it was uncomfortable. You just taking out your comfort zone. It's like everything you ever know. It's like finding out your parents ain't your parents. It's like it just shakes your whole foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? I don't know if that was a good analogy, but
No,
like it just shakes your whole thing up. So
that's perfect. That's a perfect
do you know what I
analogy.
mean?
Actually. Yeah, that's perfect actually, because that's your foundation. That's why it's so hard for some people to even consider it, because it's now like you have to rethink everything you've ever done.
Got to relearn everything.
You have to relearn everything, and that's the
Yeah.
hard thing, especially for an adult to do.
Yeah.
It's different when you're children. This is why I push so hard that we need to get to our babies before we become set in our ways and our thoughts, because that is a hard thing to do. And I don't want, and people think I feel like I'm harsh. I'm not. Like, I understand that. Like, I truly do, which is one of the reasons why I started a platform in the first place, because I get how hard that is, and I don't want to just keep poking at you and keep reminding you about the shit that you don't know, or that's not what that's not what this is about, you know what I mean? But it is to give you some support, and even, you know what I'm saying, give you a guide to where you need to be, because you still need to know this information. Again, whether you know it or not, whether you accept it or not, truth is truth, and it's going to happen, and you don't get to elude it. And it's why I push so hard for people to open up their minds. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to escape what's coming, or the, you know what I'm saying, or the results of what's going on, simply because you choose not to think that it's there.
You don't want to learn it. You don't want to learn it, and it's too late. That's the problem. While we've still got some form of control within ourselves and what we can learn, because that's one thing that they can't. They can kill us. They can do what they want. They can restrict our movements. They can bring in martial law. They can do whatever they want. But the one thing they can't do at the moment is stop you from educating yourself and working on yourself from within. They're the two things they can't do. Do you know what I mean?
Can't take away your mind. They cannot take away your mind. They absolutely can't.
No,
well,
they can't.
if you unless you let them.
Well,
we gotta change that. And this is see how truth changes just like that. They can. They got our minds right now. That was the whole point of slavery. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How was it? Break the mind and keep the body. I think that's how it went. You know what I'm saying? They kept our bodies, you know what I'm saying? But they stole our minds. This is why there's more of us than them. And yet we can't just stand up, you know what I'm saying, and snatch that when there's more of us than them.
But they had to get us spiritually first. That's why you had white people going over to Africa, that bringing us the Bible. They had to take our minds. They had to go there first and literally affect our spiritual belief system, and then come in for the kill and rob us. Literally, not just of our resources in the motherland, but literally rob the people and take them. But they had to weaken their foundation first, our foundation first, and then go for the body. Because first, this is what I'm saying. There's stages, mind, body, and soul. Do you know what I mean? You have to go to the mind, the soul, mind, and body. There's stages. Do you know what I mean? But it's just, as I'm even speaking, it's not even like it's not even like I'm not even trying to teach, really. Like, I am, but I'm not, because I'm just reaffirming it all for myself. When I speak and I'm talking, and me and my partner, we're just talking, or me and my friends, we're just talking, it's all just so that I remember, and do you know what I mean? Like, I'm telling myself this. When I'm talking or speaking about negative traits and things like that, I'm not even pointing fingers. I'm literally talking about myself. I can relate myself to a lot of these situations. Do you know what I mean? So it's literally just to keep at the forefront of my mind so that I can do better. Do you know what I mean? And if I can help people along the way, then fantastic.
Well, that's why you are on the Plump Queen podcast. I appreciate that you're here.
Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. And just to let everybody know, this is going to be a continuous thing. What I wanted to do is to introduce all of the sisters that I have in mind, you know what I'm saying, to be a part of the situation, give y'all their individual, you know what I'm saying, spotlight. So then when we all come together and talk about these topics and, have all of that energy and all of these perspectives in there, so it'll be even more, you know what I'm saying, well-rounded. I even want to have guests on, you know what I'm saying. This is all about women's empowerment, you know what I'm saying, melanated empowerment, and again, powerful ladies uniting and making progress because we're the first teachers. You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
Period. You know what I'm saying? We carry that mitochondrial DNA. You know what I'm saying? All life comes through us. So if we have to start speaking and we have to start, you know what I'm saying, putting this energy out there. So I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, meeting you and you being a
I
part,
do too.
you know what I'm saying,
I was
of
so
my
glad I met you.
universe. Yeah, me too. And it's just everything is in divine. Like as I grow, I just learn to just really tap into my intuition. I go for what, I just go for the gusto now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
same
feel
here.
like saying something when I feel like engaging in something, I do it. And every time something beautiful comes out of it, because I feel like I've known you forever and I've known you about what,
Straight away.
couple of
I was like,
months.
I get you. But then on top of that, we are Aries.
We are Aries. Yes, we are.
It's a
Yes, we
different
are.
energy of itself. Like, it's just, I was like, I know her. Like, I recognize me within you. Do you know what I mean? Just straight talking, just cut through all the garbage, you know? But
That's
no, it's
right.
a beautiful thing because, like, for myself, like I was saying to you, I just started on this kind of consciousness shift. I was already conscious, but, like the feeling of it within my own being, like I just started feeling like I was like going in a certain place. And like I said, I've got my partner this with me and he's conscious as well. And we can talk dialogue, but there's just something about female energy. Now, I know I can go and have the same conversation with another sister, and I don't have too many sisters around me to really dialogue with. Do you know what I mean? So I was at a point in my life, and I'm saying like about 3 months ago, I was kind of like reaching out because, like I said, we can have the same conversation, me and my partner, but the energy is different. I know when I'm speaking to another sister on the same flicks, it's like we're feeding each other so different. And I'm thinking, no, we
Yeah.
have to start a movement here because I feel like we can do something different. I think we need to support our black man out there in the community and get stuff going on. Do you know what I mean? Because our place ain't just in the house. And I'm not saying it ain't in the house, but it starts within the house. And we need to get this thing going because even for me, I remember like what you were saying earlier, if we had this consciousness from like birth, it'd be a different thing. Like I remember thinking, wow, like to a certain member of the Nation of Islam, young people in there, and I used to think like, wow, like you've had this from birth, like do you know what you've got? Like, and I was about 18 at the time coming into it, like, and then I thought to myself like, now I'm looking at my children and I hear the conversations that they're having, whether it be jokes, whatever it is, and it's all like conscious things that are going on. I'm thinking, wow, like we've got the power to take this next generation to a different level. They're going to be different. They're already a fearless generation. Do you know what I mean? So like Malcolm X said, teach a woman. Well, you teach a man, you teach an individual, or is it Mark? No, look, I'm getting it all confused. But when you teach a woman, when you teach a man, you teach an individual. When you teach a woman, you're teaching a nation, and it's 100% a fact.
That is
Definitely.
1,000% a fact. I'm just so happy. I feel like a bowl of sunshine right now. This is awesome. I really
Yeah, no,
hope
I'm happy as well.
I really hope that everybody heard you. I really hope that y'all, you know what I'm saying, took a lot
Yeah.
out of this. I want to make this a every Saturday thing, so I'm going to talk to the
Yeah.
other stars and get somebody up there. And again,
I can't wait.
This is definitely going to be a collective thing. So I just cannot wait to just have all this divine feminine, you know what I'm saying, just going around and all of that good
It's
stuff.
that
So
time.
okay, I love you. Now when I'm doing, I actually have to get ready because I'm going to a concealed gun a license type of situation.
And that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying about America. Yeah, ain't nothing over here, you know.
Oh, they won't
Nothing.
let y'all do that? They don't let y'all do that?
I don't think. Look, just for the fact, even you were mentioning gun, just for the fact that you can have a gun, yeah. There's none of that here. You can't have nothing. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to gun here. You. What?
That's something else.
I'm not
I
allowed to
didn't
gun.
know that. Again, like I didn't know
Crime.
y'all are not allowed to bear arms.
No, even with this is what I'm saying with all the gun crime, yeah, that they're trying to say black on black crime with all the youth and things like that. How the hell do these guns get into our black communities? if you're not allowed to take things through the borders and all the rest of it. You've come and you've planted them and made them accessible for black youth to get hold of if there's gun crime in our communities today. And that's in the UK. We're not allowed to carry guns. Nah. That's what I'm saying. America, man. I think America's, for me personally, yeah, there needs to be a lot more organisation, yeah. And I'm not trying to put things, but you lot can carry guns, like, and things like that. Like, you could be military strong, is what I'm trying to say. Over here, you can have an organisation, but none of that. You can't have that. Although the police are walking around here, you know, on military style with their big guns, like, yeah. UK is different. We'll talk on it another time, anyway. Hope you enjoy yourself.
What Jennifer Jackson just said, I'm looking at these. I figured out how to look at all of these other lives without interfering with this. Yeah, Jennifer Jackson said that's a whole nother conversation, and we definitely gonna have you back on to talk about that, because wow, did not know that. And this is what I want people: open up your mind, stop listening to the news.
Yeah. We have to communicate with each other.
We have to communicate with each other. You need to start. If you want to know something about another country, you talk to somebody in that country. Stop listening to what the news is telling you about other folks. Because you don't know. Until you're there, you don't know. They say a lot of things about Africa. When I went to Africa last year, everything they said did not happen. I had a ball in Africa. You know what I'm saying? They're always telling you, you know what I'm saying, again, because it goes with their agenda. So personally, any place that they tell me not to go, I'm trying to go.
Even the image of Africa, what they portray on TV. Yeah, you've got places that are like that. I've been to Africa 5 times. Same destination. I do need to travel Africa. I mean, I've been to Egypt as well, but West Africa. And it's not how they're describing on the TV. That the Africa is built up. You know, like, we haven't got a clue. You have to go there. But even in regards to this corona situation, I took a call from a random stranger one time on Facebook from Africa, and me and my partner said, let's just answer it. We decided to ask him, what's the coronavirus situation over there? He said, there's a curfew at 8 o'clock, but ain't no one dying from it. So we had a direct conversation with people that live out there. I think it was Sierra Leone, and no deaths. But there's a curfew in place. So, yeah, you have to speak to people direct. Can't keep listening to the media. They're just television telling lies to your vision. Yeah.
And that's why I'm Inspiration TTV, because that's Tell Truth Vision. I ain't got time for all that. Well, no, that's actually 2 other conversations. Yeah, girl, we will be doing this all day.
You know this endless list. Come on.
Now, so Shereen, I know we just having a conversation, but I don't know if there's anything you got going on. Tell the people how to find you if they just want to, hear your personal perspective on your social media sites. Business that you got going on, or you want to start, let us know, because they're gonna be seeing you currently. But tell them how to find you.
I've got an Instagram account. It's Black Media UK. But the thing is, it's like, I know that I've got capital letters in it, so it's not going to be easy to find. But I can give you the link. But also, I've got a YouTube channel. I haven't uploaded for a long time, but me and my partner,
give me the name of it. Give me the name of it. I'm learning. Keeping it real. I'm learning this program, so I can put this on a ticker and let it roll while you're talking. So tell me how to spell it.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna show you right now.
I can't. No, I need to get it.
You said Instagram. What is it?
Instagram is Black Media. I can't. Do you know what? I can't remember it off by heart. I have to literally look at it, and to look at it, I've got to get my phone, and my phone is on right now.
You said Black Media UK. I think that's what you had.
Black Media TV UK. Yeah.
Black Media TV UK.
But I'm gonna have to give you a direct link, because I've also got a YouTube channel where me and my partner do videos, and we just discuss various topics on more or less all these different types of situations in regards to things that are happening in the Black community, UK, America, wherever. We just dialogue and have our little talks.
Gotcha.
It's Black Media again, Black Media UK TV. But you're better off if you type in Zoza and Mun, that you would get results quicker.
Okay. Well, your name is definitely Shereen Senior on Facebook.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And yes, definitely post all of that afterwards. Give that to me, and and I'll send that out.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, if there's any last words, what I'm saying, that you want to give to the people.
All I've got to say to you is what I keep telling myself: work on yourself. Try to stay focused. Try not to get your emotions over, into what's going on outside in the world, because I think what they're socially engineering outside right now is all to do with trying to stress you out, create anxiety, which will lead to depression, and which will eventually lead to death. So try not to focus on what actually is going on outside. Keep up to date, but try not to let your emotions get so involved with it, and just work on your negative traits so that you can spiritually elevate, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And that's what I'm trying to be about as well. I think that's the only thing that we can do. Work on yourself so that you can actually combat the enemy outside if it does come to that.
Everything she just said. All right.
And peace to you all.
Peace. How we doing in Kemet? We put our fingers together.
Oh, I like that one, yeah.
Yeah, that's how we do that in Kemet.
Hey.
Guys, I love y'all. Y'all know where to find me. On my Instagram, Inspiration TTV. You can catch me at Instagram, Ampspire Media LLC. Let me find my ticker. I got a ticker too. Hold up. There we go. All right. You can also catch me, of course, Plump Queen. That is I am the Plump Queen. You know what I'm saying? On Facebook. What else? And absolutely catch us on Inspiration TTV on YouTube. I low-key made 2 of them. Don't ask me how I did it. I don't remember. It just happened that way. So all you got it, and one of them has the white logo and the other has the black logo. Either one of them, you're going to find me. You're going to find the Plump Queen podcast. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I appreciate everyone's commentary and your thoughts. I hope you enjoy this and keep tuning in, because again, I'm saying, Divine Feminine absolutely, I'm saying, has to shine. I want to give this little shout out to my sister, Aurora Brown Lee, for the Mentally Wealthy shirt. This is super dope. I have my little thing, when you get your mind right, I'm saying, that'll get your money right. Okay. You have to be mentally wealthy. You can't make money if your mind's not right, y'all. So I really love, I'm saying, this brand, this concept. Definitely hit her up, I'm saying, and get you one. Her name is Aurora Brownlee on Facebook. I love you. And we are going to take this out, since this is a podcast. I think I'm going to, leave the show with the song too. Yeah. Figuring this out, y'all. Love y'all.
You need to give me, the tune that you just played at the beginning. I need that.
That is Oshun Me.
Okay.
Oshun
I'll check that one out.
Yes, definitely dope. Felt like it was a great vibe, you know what I'm saying?
It was. And you knew all the words, and all I was speaking to myself is, I want to mind those words. You're there like, I'm like,
oh yeah, that's my song. Yeah, I'm a real repetitive person. When I love music, when I love a song, I repeat it until I learn the words. That's my thing. Well, you're gonna love this one too. This is Jamar Milton, which is my mentor. This is his song Shaman. This is actually him talking about his wife, his boo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and she's at her name is Jennifer. She's actually been saying a whole lot on the feed. So yeah, we're gonna play her song. That's your song, Jen. All right. Well, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. And remember to tune back into the Plump Queen podcast.
Peace, people.